now decided, the BBC, they want to spend £50 million of our money to work out what viewers want to watch. Well, I can tell them that for £1. Rebecca, a very good morning to you. Welcome.
Morning, Mike. Okay?
I mean, what are they doing now? Tell us. What's the plan?
They're planning on spending £50 million of licence fee payers' money on tracking what people like to watch. It's not going to make a difference to anybody, is it? Because, we had the Brexit poll. We had a clear output of what people wanted to, what their views were. And the BBC spent the next 4 years campaigning hard for a second referendum. Yes. So I don't think that, they're literally just burning money at this point.
Yes.
Which is pretty outrageous given the cost of living crisis.
Well, also pretty outrageous given what they say sort of once every 2 or 3 months, which is that they're cutting back. Because my understanding of the BBC's sort of version of cutting back is that they let go a few people from the staff list, thereby reducing their wage bill, and then hire them back as freelancers, going to put them on another wage bill, so it doesn't actually, they don't actually lose their jobs, they just change their status.
Exactly, they're just shifting around the deck chairs on the Titanic, aren't they, really? But, the people in the country are really undergoing massive cost pressure. Energy bills are set to go up to £3,000 a year, which we heard this morning from one of the power bosses. And we have the BBC, just blatantly wasting licence fee payers' money in this way. Yeah. It's unacceptable.
Well, they put these tenders out apparently for contractors to apply to sort of see if they can get the money. One is for 46 million. They run from March of next year until 2027. So if I set up a sort of research company, I could make an absolute fortune. And I'm not suggesting for a minute that there might be some jiggery-pokery going on here, but imagine if you, as a senior BBC executive, knew somebody who ran a market research company and said, why don't you apply to get this? And, we'll all have a very nice time. Thank you very much indeed for 46 million quid of taxpayers' money. It's extraordinary.
I mean, the viewing figures there are publicly available already, so we already know what people watch and what people don't want to watch. Why they need to spend a further 50 million on this, I don't know. They could just stop reading The Guardian, which is what they, their favourite newspaper. Perhaps if they read a wider spectrum of newspapers, they'd find out very easily and more cost effectively. Or if they just actually listened to people around them or employed people who had a normal view who lived outside the M25.
Isn't that the problem with the BBC? That I've always argued that their diversity campaign, it should not be about what colour skin you are. It should be about what sort of background you've got. And we've already heard that they're now they know so little about working class kids that they're actually going to have to ask them questions to see if they're working class enough, and then they're going to give them a job because they're working class. I mean, really?
I know, it's pretty outrageous, isn't it? I mean, they're talking about sort of what your parents did, what job your parent did when you were 14 years old, whether or not that qualifies you to be working class or not. Whereas they should just be bringing in people who've got a natural selection of people who've got a variant of views, and that's where they go wrong, because they're clearly dipping into the same pool for all of the people that they employ.
Absolutely right. £1.3 million is for research on children and education, seeking insight, in their words, into how children discover our content, how children find and consume media, and who is influential in helping them choose. I mean, it beggars belief, this, doesn't it? I mean, have none of them got children? Could they not just do a kind of, survey inside Broadcasting House where there's thousands of them, and maybe they could get a rough idea, perhaps?
Well, this is what's really worrying, isn't it? Because most parents are quite worried about the BBC's woke agenda and the kind of things that the BBC is trying to do to bypass parents and push through, certain topics which are really quite controversial. These sort of the gender ideology, which is, is quite out there, and they're pushing this directly to kids without parents even realising it. So, the fact that they're prepared to spend, over £1 million worth of licence fee payers' money on finding out how to reach children, it's quite concerning, I think.
Absolutely. And, I mean, who knows, before long we'll presumably have a trans Doctor Who, won't we? Because we've already had a woman Doctor Who. It was an absolute waste of time. We've now got Doctor Who from Rwanda, apparently. And next it will be a Doctor Who from the trans community, I would imagine. Not that I'm suggesting there's anything bad about that.
No, but they're just working through their way through the tick boxes, and that's what I think is embarrassing.
It's so embarrassing.
It's embarrassing, exactly. It's embarrassing for the people that have got, who've been assigned the roles, and it's embarrassing for people within those check boxes, because it's clearly just patronising, and I think that's what people find really uncomfortable about the BBC.
Yeah, the second pot that they're giving out, 6.5 million, to be spent on bespoke research for harder to reach niche and diverse audiences. What do you think they mean by that?
We might be a niche audience.
Well, listen, I think I am a niche audience. I'm also never going to get a job at the BBC on account of being white, middle-aged, and, of course, heterosexual. I nearly said homosexual then. Could have got myself a job. Could have got myself in. Blimey. That was a bit of a Freudian slip, but you know what I mean? They'll never employ me. You know, can I not sue them or something for that?
But yeah, like you say, in this day and age, you probably are a niche audience there. Yes. So yeah, but like you say, £7 million of licence fee payers' money when people are really up against it financially with the cost of living crisis, and they are just burning money on this kind of stuff. You know, really doubling down on their, politics of identity. And it's just not what people want. And this is why people are switching off in their droves, and why people are realising that actually you don't need to pay for the BBC licence fee. If you don't watch live TV, if you watch everything on demand, you can legally go without a TV licence fee.
Yes.
And people are doing that in their droves.
But bizarrely,
they're just sick to death of it.
Is it not a trick of the light, though, that if you watch this show live, you do need a licence fee? If you watch this show live on a television channel, which happens to be on a television.
Because you're now
we're now a TV
broadcast
station.
on TV.
Yeah, because we're now broadcast on TV. I mean, if it's YouTube, it may be arguable. But if you're watching it on a television signal, say on Freeview or on Sky platform, you're basically, you need a TV licence to watch my programme. I get nothing from that.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. So when you were talk radio and you were being broadcast live on YouTube, that was absolutely fine because you weren't being broadcast on TV. As soon as you're being broadcast on traditional TV channels, you can't simultaneously watch it even on YouTube. So it's completely unpoliceable as well, really. But then if you wait a few minutes and, you watch everything on demand, you don't need a TV licence. So people can save themselves some money, watch all of talk TV on demand instead if they want to, and save themselves a load of money, and they're not, supporting the BBC's woke campaigning.
Yes. What a very good idea. Well done. I knew there was a reason why we got it on. Rebecca Ryan recommends watching this slightly on delay, and that way you don't have to have a TV licence. Thank you, Rebecca. I mean...